Hey folks, welcome back to Dan's Auto Diagnostics and Repair. As you can see, we got back the Ford Fusion. It's a 2010. This is the one we did the alternator and the EGR on. So she's back for check engine light. So let's go see what that's about. Alright, got inside here, fired it up, and customer complaint confirmed. Check engine light is on. Today we have the Autel because my launch is charging. It's got a dead battery. So we're gonna whip out the old school scan tool today. Alright, go to auto. Okay, input box 1 cannot be empty. What is this? A little rusty on this one. Haven't used this scan tool in a while. Alright, there we go. 3.0. Boom, boom, yes. Equip navigation system, it does have that. Diagnose. Auto scan. I'll let it scan and get back to you. Now the Autel doesn't have that nice topology, but it's getting through it pretty quick. That's nice. You can't beat that topology though. Alright, powertrain. Let's look into that. 3 codes. Key on engine running. Now she's getting the RPMs up there. I am doing a scan while it's running, so doing a little self-test deal. Check engine light still on. RPMs boosted up to a little over 1500 there. And RPM should be coming down. Yep, there they are. They came down and went up again. Look, they're fluctuating. Might be doing that because it sees something wrong. It's trying to figure it out. We should see something displayed here soon. Alright, RPMs have dropped. Now we should be getting something here. Come on. Alright, there we go. Alright, system readiness test. Not good. Cylinder 6 misfire. Okay. Misfire detected on startup, first 1,000 revolutions. OBD onboard system readiness test. So looks like what we're dealing with here is the misfire. That's what we're looking at. So let's go see what cylinder 6 is. I went on all data and I printed up the cylinder numbers here. Looks like cylinder 6 is right up in front, which is good because 1, 2, and 3 are under the intake. Alright, so there's the motor. Here's our cylinder 5, or I mean 4, 5, and 6 here. Looks like we're getting the misfire here on 6. That seems connected. Visually, I don't see anything wrong here. But it's good to have it out here in front. That way we can do the swaptronics and see if that misfire moves. And then we'll see that if it's a coil or a plug or whatever. And anyway, Our arrow here indicates the front of the motor, which is here, and this is how we know that we have 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3 in the back. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and swap a couple coils, and then we'll rescan it, see what we got. And it is here to change the spark plugs, so we're going to do that anyway. Hopefully that fixes it alone and it's not a coil, but we're going to test this first. First thing I'm going to do is swap these two coils here. Oh. Well, we're going to take a look at them first. See what we got. That could tell the whole tale right there. Alright, let's get these out. Disconnect that. Disconnect that. Pull that out. The spring's stuck in there. We want to blow it out anyway. Anytime you're doing spark plugs like this, and you got the well right there, you always want to blow that well out before you take the plug out. You can see that plug, coil spring right there wiggling around in there. That should be in the boot here, but it's stuck on the plug. Alright, we'll blow that out so nothing falls in there when we pull the plug out. We got the long needle nose. We're going to go in for the spring. There it is. And we'll take a look at that plug in a second. Alright, looking at the boot here. I see a little, oh, I'm sorry, you guys can't even see that. Right in here, see a little crack. No carbon tracking on the boot or anything. Doesn't look too bad. No obvious issues here. Alright, let's pull this other coil. See what that looks like. Oh boy, looks like we got a little infestation here. See that? Let's get these long pliers. Oh yeah, we got mouse problem here. Look at that. Oh boy. Hopefully he has since moved. Hopefully no chewing of wires in there. There's a lot. Yeah. Still a little bit in there. Yeah, definitely a bit of an infestation. Look at that. Yikes. Alright, we're going to take the blow tip on the other end here, because we can't reach all the way to the back. See what we get. Oh boy. Well, that got us more of that. Should be about all gone though now. Boy, that motor was dirty. That took a few minutes to blow out of there. Anyway, here we are. Here's the other plug coil. I don't see anything too bad here. No carbon tracking. No cracks in the boot or anything. Spring stayed in this one. That's good. Alright, we'll switch them. Fire it up. See what we got. Before I switched them, I just went ahead and took out the plug. Just wanted to take a look. It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look like it. Nothing evident. You know, that's pretty brown right there. Definitely, these plugs definitely need to be changed. So it's good we're doing that. I don't know. I'll check the gap on them. The gap on these are 45 to 49 thousandths of an inch. Alright, so this is 25 thousandths and 24 thousandths. That's 49 thousandths. And I got some wiggle in there, so this gap is a little large. Alright, I got everything back together. Let's hook up the scan tool again and see what we got. Right, I pulled up live data. Misfire events during latest misfire cycle. And it's counting up. 9, 37, 42. So I'm trying to find which cylinder that's happening on. Like I said, I haven't used this in a while, so I gotta figure that out. Alright, I went over to active tests and I found this power balance test on here. And as we can see, we got cylinder 5 dropping out. That's the one we swapped with 6. So that's clearly going out like all the time. I'm going to switch these back around again and see if, and pull this power balance test up and then see what we got. Alright, I swapped them over. We're doing the power balance test again. Give it a second. It's going to come up. If that's 6 right away, we know for sure. There it is. It's 6 right away. We got a bad coil. Easy little diag there. Played a little Swaptronics. And now I'm going to call the customer and tell him he not only needs plugs, but he needs a coil as well. So, I'll call him now and see what he wants. Just got off the phone with the customer. He said do what you got to do, so we're going to replace the coil as well. Let's get after it. Alright, let's get busy taking these out. The 3 in the front are pretty straightforward. 3 in the back, unfortunately we got to take the intake off to get to those. This coil here was giving me a little problem, so I don't want you to miss the carnage if something stupid happens. Oh, well, the boot came off. It's still stuck on the plug down in there, so we got to go after it along with the spring. There's the spring. Put that in there and then try to retrieve this boot. Uh-oh. This ain't good. Alright, there we go. Not a huge problem, that's good. Alright, nothing exciting there. Alright, we're going to start getting the air duct system out of the way. Just a couple clips down here and here. Take off the airflow sensor. There's a little red tab here. Get my knife out for this one. Just a little tab you pull up, and then you push here. Boom, and that's off. I don't know if you guys seen the last video I did where I had to repair this, but that seems like it's still holding in there, doing pretty good. Alright. I'll loosen this hose. Take this hose off. Alright, that came off nice. Take this off. And over here there's a little clip. I don't know if you can see that. This here on this quick disconnect hose. Try to see the back of it here. Back of it, you just pull it aside and then that should come right off. I'll show it to you. Easy, just like that. And that all comes out. You're also going to need to, there's another red clip on the throttle body connector. Pull that up. Push that, pull that out. Take off the hoses and then unbolt the intake. I can see somebody's been in here messing with the battery because it's loose. I know we didn't do that. Look at that. That'll just come right off. Not good. Alright, we got all the intake bolts loose. Everything's all ready to come off except for this here. If you've seen the video where I did the alternator and the CGR, then you know that we're going to be smart about it this time and take these two bolts off. And we know they're not going to break, so we're not afraid of that. We already had them off, so that's what we'll do, and this thing will come off nice and easy. Alright, we got 1, 2 on the way here. There we go. That's 2. Yeah, let's see what else we gotta loosen up here. I almost forgot about these annoying bolts that are way down there. Yeah, I remember there's a bracket and there's the bolt right there. That's that bracket that connects to the intake. That was kind of rough, so have to get an extension, possibly have to take the battery out. I've already got the terminals off. We get that and this should come right out. With a long extension, we can get after it. Yeah, see, she's coming. I'm gonna need 2 hands now to grab that bolt. Now, I may be able to come out now, but I think I'm gonna get this gas line out of the way because that's the only thing that's going over it now. So, just so I don't have any trouble, I'm gonna get that gas line off there. This is the tool I use to get that done. If you want to see more, go to my other video on this car, the alternator and the EGR, and you'll see this whole process. Alright, let's see if this goes better than last time. There we go. Nice and easy. Now we can get to those rear coils and plugs. Alright, back from the parts store. Got Ford Motorcraft spark plugs, and I got their equivalent to OEM. There's your part number there. Coil. So that's that. Let's go throw it in. First thing I'm going to do is check the gap on these, and our gap was between 45 and 49 thousandths, so we're going to go 47. I have a 23 thousandths and a 24 thousandths here. Ooh, very nice. That's perfect. If they're all like that, all we have to do is throw them in. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Alright, we'll finish going through all these, and if they're all like this, we're throwing them in. Yep, they're all good. I don't know if you guys can see that real well or not, but here's the old plug. I don't know if you can see that electrode on there or not, but compare it to the other one. That one is just burnt out. A lot of burning, and most of them are like that. So definitely a good thing we're switching these out. One of the things you'll need when you're replacing these spark plugs is the dielectric grease. You want to put these, you want to put a little in the spark plug boot here before you put it on the plug. Free tip for y'all: when you're putting the spark plugs in, use a spark plug socket, and it's got you see that little rubber piece in there? That holds on to the spark plug so it doesn't drop in there. Now I don't put it all the way in. I get it to where it's just holding on to it, and then I could turn it a few threads, and then I'll go behind it and use the regular 5/8 socket, because I can just pull that off. A lot of times you'll lose the socket down there if this holds on to this plug too good. Here's another thing that you're going to need: anti-seize. Always put a little bit on the threads of the spark plugs. That's all you need there. And that'll, once you screw that in there, that'll get around the threads and you won't have them locked in there. Now you put your plugs in and torque them to spec. When you finish putting all the plugs in, put a little bit dielectric grease just like that. Boom. And then put your coils in, torque them to spec. The new coil is in. Everybody's all lubed up, torqued to spec. Connectors are all in. Definitely make sure your connectors are all clicked in back here, because you ain't gonna be able to do it once you got that intake on there. Or it'd be very hard, I don't know. I never had to do it. Never tried to do it. But I can only imagine. Let's get that intake on there. Now I just did this a short time ago, so I really just need to wipe down these mating surfaces. They're all still nice and shiny, so don't need to go over them with the conditioning wheel or anything. Just a good wipe, and she's ready to go. Get that hose on in the back there. There you go. Now all we gotta do is torque her to spec. Easy peasy. Alright, everything's back together. Now seeing as we disconnected the battery, we're gonna have all kinds of codes in there still. We'll clear all of them out, redo the balance test, and see what we got. Alright, let's give her a quick fire here. Fired right up. And look at that. No check engine light. Goes out right away. That's very nice. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, we started the scan here. And that's it. Got one fault in the PCM there. We're going to clear everything out and start again and see what we got here. Alright, we just cleared. This is what we got back. Got one in the PCM, one in the instrument, or two in the instrument cluster, and then one in the generic electronic module. Okay, let's go to the PCM here. See what we got. Let me turn this ignition off and back on again. Open the door. Read the codes. Okay. Alright, it's only showing the onboard diagnostic systems readiness test not complete. It's got to run through the monitors. Now that we've fixed everything and we've cleared all the codes out and everything, now we got to drive it. Well, the customer's got to drive it, and then the readiness monitors will all set. Everything will be all good and it'll be all right. Let's fire this thing back up. No check engine light. Alright, as Eric O says, for poop and laughter, let's do the power balance test again. Alright, I had to back all the way out. We're going to go into hot functions. Cylinder, power balance. And this should be a straight line now. Alright, that should maintain. We'll give it a second here. There it is. You don't see anything dipping out. That's what we want to see. Remember, before we had the 6 dipping out, we switched them. It went to 5, and so on and so forth. So now we got nice straight lines. That's a fix. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this one. We're going to send this one back to the customer. And do me a favor, folks, like and subscribe. We're almost to 500. That's our goal. And we're doing a great job. I think we're up to 420 now. So keep up the good work. I'll keep whipping out the videos. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.